Enya is an Irish singer, musician, and composer. She was the little sister of several members of the band Acclaimed and worked with them for a while. And then she left along with two of the non-family members, who were Nikki and Roma Ryan. And she moved in with them, and they built a studio in their garden shed and started doing some recording. So Nikki was the producer, Roma was the lyricist, and Enya was the singer and music composer. And Enya stuff, I believe, I don't know how long this lasted, but certainly for some albums, I believe you could kind of think of them as being that trio of people that are really involved. She released her first solo album in 1986. She's released 7 more since, and her most recent was 2015. And she is known for developing a particular style with very multi-layered vocals. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was Enya's second solo album, and I've heard it a few times before. I have had, I believe, a cassette copy back in the day, as they say, so a commercial cassette uh, version that I listen to, not very often, but reasonably often. So both Wikipedia and Acclaimed Music use um the genre New Age or Celtic New Age here, and I can see why, but also she did not accept that as a description, and I can also see why that as well. So, New Age as music was a description of a kind of emergent style of music that was quite airy and gentle, often kind of focused on meditation, and it kind of fit stylistically with other stuff that came through as a New Age music genre. However, the New Age movement outside the thought of a music thing was a kind of pseudo-religious, philosophical, esoteric movement in the 80s and 90s. You probably could say it's still going, which was kind of some people would just say, "Oh, it's hippies," but it kind of had a focus on things like holistic healing and ancient religions and things like theosophy and Indian mysticism. And Enya's music doesn't embrace those things to the same extent that a lot of New Age music would do. Um, so I can see why it's been said, and I can see why she didn't want to think of that. In some ways, I would say it's the closest genre um, that you could say it is, but really the genre is Enya. There is nobody else that I've come across that's really like this. Yeah, I say that the only thing that I've come across that has some similarities is a classical vocal thing called Adi Amos by a guy called Carl Jenkins, and which was some of it was used for a British Airways ads quite a while ago. So what's going on here is we've got synth and voice, but the voice is multi-layered, so up to apparently 200 times tracked of her own voice, which gives it this kind of breathy pad choir feel to it. And sometimes that's done in a way that is not actually words that's being sung, it's ahs and oohs and ums. There's humming at times. And this is this has been kind of multi-layered together to make it sound like a background synth pad, but it's her voice. And then there are other things as well. It's quite samply. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of different keyboards involved here, apparently. And it's unlike a lot of stuff that kind of was coming through with the sample technology, which was often quite clinical and clean and percussive. This is very spaced out, mellow. Some of that is comes out of the fact that there's not a lot of percussion going on here, mostly, and it's got this kind of expansive breathing feel to it. It's quite therapeutic in some ways, I would say. There are 3 tracks here that are instrumental. There's some of it that's almost entirely just piano sound. I don't know if it was actually a piano. There are little bits of things like Uilleann pipes thrown in. So, real instruments, if you like, although sampled music is from real instruments originally. Um, the rest of them, so the songs, so they're in English, there's some Gaelic, and there's some Latin. There's influences here from church music, kind of choral music. There's influences from Celtic stuff in here. And there's lots of keyboard sounds and reverb here. When I say lots of keyboard sounds, I say predominantly the music is keyboard based, but it doesn't mean that it's full with lots of things. So Orinoco Flow was a huge hit of this album, and it's easily the most kind of upbeat track on the album. It's got kind of a string pizzicato sound being used, but you can still tell in the pattern that it uses that it's probably, well, I'm fairly sure it is. It's been done with a sampler and then it's been played because the pattern used this is very kind of keyboard based. So the end result of this is mostly, I would say, quite beautiful. It does help that she has a very beautiful and evocative voice. Her voice works really well with this style. There is strangely some kind of mild irritation for me in this, and trying to put my finger on it, I think that maybe it's because it's so reliant on particular arpeggio patterns on the keyboard, and so that just maybe it's just a bit too much after a while, and maybe it's just a bit kind of an oversaturation in this kind of wacky, reverby feel. But that's only kind of minor irritation. I do really like this album. Um, it was a hugely successful album. I know there'll be a lot of people out there who are well acquainted with this album. Please do let me know what you think of this album, and you can do that by leaving me a comment. And that's it from me for now.